Hey folks, today's episode is brought to you by MAGA Shop. Want to support MAGA Pod? Go to MAGA Shop, our online shop that is coming later this week. You can buy MAGA Pod t-shirts, hats, and coffee mugs. Go to magapod.com and you'll see the link for MAGA Shop. Now, let's start the show.
Our country has tremendous potential, but we don't use it. And what we really have to do is make America great again.
What is up, centipedes? Welcome to MAGA Pod, the only podcast dedicated to the idea of Make America Great Again. Once again, I'm your host, Mark Hammond, and it's so great to be back here with you. On today's show, we have legendary actor, model, and based as fuck Trump supporter, Antonio Sabàto Jr. His talk at the RNC a few weeks back was electric, but his confrontation with the media right after, where he insisted that Obama is a Muslim, caused even more of an uproar. This is a guy in a heated battle every day of his life against the mainstream media and with liberal Hollywood. And he sits down with us today on MAGA Pod for an in-depth discussion. Now, a couple things I want to get to today before we dive on in. First, I want to give my thoughts on the AMA, the Ask Me Anything session with the Donald on Reddit, and also my thoughts on the live Discord AMA immediately thereafter. First of all, I want to thank all the mods at the Donald, from Little Z to Viking83, to Trump for Life, to Oh Snap You Got Served. There's 29 others. I can't name you all, but I love all of you guys. Thank you so much for supporting the show. They do a wonderful job maintaining and cultivating the best Donald Trump forum on the internet. I also want to say thank you to Ross the Colonel. You all know him from episode 2. That episode is retired and it's only available on SoundCloud, but please feel free to check it out. Ross was so cool to put everything together, and I cannot thank him enough. Also, I'm glad to report Ross will be back on the show with a moderator here in the next week or so to talk about the Donald. So we talked about it on episode 2, but it's time we talk about it again here coming soon. But as far as the AMA, I fucking loved it. I answered every single question asked. I took about an hour and a half to answer them. I spent about 3.5 hours on Discord, on the Discord server afterwards. At first just answering questions and then just shooting the shit. I had a great time. I was so glad you guys let me talk shit, be myself, just do what I always wanted to do. And I'm glad that you guys liked the show. I was pretty brutally honest with the AMA questions, and I didn't pull any punches. And if I do get invited back, I promise to do more of the same. And I do got jokes back for you Mark Hamill Star Wars centipedes who's like, hey man, isn't that Mark Hamill who's answering questions? No, I'm not that Mark. I'm Mark Hammond, not Mark Hamill. But it was such a great time. And no one gave me a John Hammond one. Everyone usually does John Hammond too when they see my name. So I didn't get a John Hammond. I did get a lot of Mark Hamill, but I got answers for you guys, so no worries. So it was such a great time. The Discord AMA was even better. We got some hardcore Trump supporters and some really interesting conversations happening on Discord. Those guys were great. Now, if you hear me talking about this and you're going, what is an AMA? What is the Donald? You need to go to reddit.com, sign up, and join the Donald. It is the absolute best forum for Trump discussion on the internet. Now, the other thing I want to mention, and you may have heard it at the beginning of the show, is that because of a popular demand, you guys were on me about this, even in the AMA, afterwards via email. Everyone is like, hey, you want people to support the show, why don't you have a t-shirt? Why aren't you selling some shit? We want to get a t-shirt. So MAGA Pod is going to start offering t-shirts and other apparel. I didn't want to do it until we had something cool. Now we have something that looks really, really cool. So we here at MAGA Pod are not communists. We're not Bernie supporters. We're not just going to ask you for money constantly. That would be annoying. Match me. I gave $5. Match me. I gave 10. Match me. Not going to do that. So we're not a bunch of communists, but the show does need your help. So how about this? You help us and you get something really cool for yourself. The initial t-shirt design is awesome. It makes it look like MAGA Pod is like a kick-ass rock and roll or punk band. I can't wait for you guys to see it. Hell, I can't wait to go buy one for myself. So here's our first ad. Listen, folks, I know other talk radio shows have their own shirts. They're supposed to be good shirts, but ours are better. We have great t-shirts, the best t-shirts, wonderful t-shirts. You wear another t-shirt, you might be made fun of, but even hardcore social justice warriors are going to see these t-shirts and get soaked in the nether regions. This is a great t-shirt, Believe me. You can find the MAGA shop by going to magapod.com, clicking on the shop link. Get yourself a t-shirt, save the show, and be legendary. MAGA shop, only on magapod.com. Seriously, people, this shirt is so awesome. I tweeted out a sneak peek of it on Sunday, and people are digging it. It's like an iconic t-shirt, kind of like a Ramones shirt or a Social D shirt. This thing looks so fucking awesome. I can't wait for you people to see it and actually get it for you and actually buy it and have it and wear it out in public. It's awesome. Okay, so let's get into some email. Now, I got a lot of email this week. I got to admit, the racial stuff is kind of drying up. I only got one beaner this week, which was good, I guess. Or maybe it means I'm not riling people up enough. My bad. I'll get back on that. That's my fault, but I'll get on that. So let's get into the old MAGA pod hate mail bag. This is where we answer our hate mail that we receive at show@magapod.com. Now, anyone can email the show at show@magapod.com. But of course, if you email the show, we will only read the ones on the air that are actually hate mail. All the other ones we read, we try to get to. We got a lot of requests. I know a lot of people after the AMA sent me like personal questions, or they sent me ideas for things they want to work on, or projects that they're working on that they thought maybe I'd be interested in. I have not got to all of them yet. My literal inbox is flooded, and I picked through it the past couple days, but it's literally just to look for hate mail. I mean, that's how crazy it is at this point. I'm ignoring regular emails, looking for hate mail so I can read them on the show. But I promise if you emailed me, I will get back in touch with you later this week. So, first email is from Violet. She writes, I can't believe your show is even available on iTunes. Who in their right mind would ever support Donald Trump for president? You and your listeners make me sick. Well, Violet, if you don't like a Trump podcast, I don't know how you're going to deal with a Trump presidency. Maybe you should just move out of the country like a lot of the other notable Democrats plan on doing. But I'll give you a word of warning, Violet. Canada has tough immigration laws. They don't have an open border like we do here. Now, your rich, liberal celebrity friends, they can buy their way in. You, my friend, you're probably shit out of luck. Okay, next email is from a Kurt Metzger fan. His name is Ronald. Now, we talked about this last episode, on the episode where we talked to Kelly Ward. At the beginning of the show, we talked about the whole Kurt Metzger, Amy Schumer fiasco. And so this refers back to that. So if you're following along at home, you might have to listen to the prior episode to understand what we're talking about. But it's still good. You'll like the result here. All right, Ronald writes, all you did was trash Kurt and compare Amy Schumer's fans to barnyard animals. That is dishonest and childish. You should have stood up for Kurt Metzger, since he obviously can't stand up for himself because he could get blacklisted and lose work. I pity you. Maybe someday you'll grow up and become a man. So listen, Ronnie, it's funny that you pity me. I don't even think about you. And second of all, your boy Kurt Metzger is a cuck. He worked for Schumer in her feminazi show. Then he spoke out of line and he got smacked down. And then he took all the blame to protect her, allegedly. The whitest of the white knights. So typical of a liberal. And then I come in, I bash Schumer, I bash her stupid fans, I bash him, I bash his stupid fans. Basically, I fucked his fans up via Twitter in front of him, and he didn't say a word about it. I'm literally fucking his fans in front of him, and his response is nothing. Like most cucks, he probably enjoyed watching me have my way with his little fans. He was probably stroking himself off while I was fucking you guys over, talking shit to you in his comments. Liberal on liberal violence is the best, because you have losers fighting losers who passively aggressively take little snipes at each other and whine under their breath. And then I get to come in and trash all of them, and I get a kick out of the whole fucking thing. If you're not following this, then go back to the last episode where we break down the entire feud. It's really awesome. It's great. Anytime you can read about one liberal eating another liberal and then shitting out the results, it's always great. Okay, next email is from Talib. He writes, I strongly support John McCain, and I think having a wingnut like Kelly Ward on your show is unfair to real conservatives. Whose side are you on? Do you know about the chemtrail thing? And then on and on and on it goes. Okay, I got a lot of this email. Now, suspiciously, all the email I got was almost the exact same talking points. I think Old Man McCain is employing some correct the record kind of bullshit, some Hillary-like tactics. First of all, it's Dr. Kelly Ward. She didn't go to medical school for fun. And second of all, I'm aware of the chemtrails thing. And my official response to that is good. Anyone who takes the time, any politician who takes the time to listen to their constituents is doing the right thing. Not enough local politicians have public forums and listen to the public that they actually serve. Now, I don't know what a chemtrail is, nor do I understand the issue enough about chemtrails to make a comment on it. I just know that having a public forum is not a bad thing. No matter how tinfoil hat the subject is, no matter how many people don't necessarily like it or could agree with it, if enough people are bringing up the subject, then they should have a talk about it. I don't think that's a big issue. Second of all, I think John McCain is just a terrible senator, and I'd like to see someone with a more Trump-like values holding that Senate seat, someone who's got more of the values in line with Rand Paul, or Mike Lee, or God forbid Ted Cruz, except the asshole part. I like those type of people. Those would be my type of conservatives. I don't like the McCain conservatives, the ones who got their hand in a bunch of dirty money. They suspiciously have things in their life that just are really kind of crooked, kind of like Crooked Hillary. I just don't like McCain, and I think Dr. Kelly Ward would be a better choice. I'm so glad that we had that conversation last episode. I think a lot of people, once they get to know her and they discover her, they're gonna love her. And I think once she wins that seat, and she beats McCain, and then she'll easily beat Kirkpatrick, and then we're going to actually have a really great senator from the state of Arizona. Okay, last email is from you-know-who. She's our number one fan, emails the show every day, and every episode I read one email from her on the show. Debbie writes, "Hey Mark, I saw the AMA. I'm so proud that you actually found a group of like-minded trolls. You guys should definitely have that big party in Vegas that you mentioned. It would be so much fun. Maybe someone will bomb the building and do the world a favor. As always, sassy and classy, Debbie, my lady love." And what she's mentioning is in the AMA, I talked about maybe having a party election night in Vegas. I was wondering who would have interest because I think I could put together sponsors. I'd have to actually start doing that right now. So if you guys are interested in that, email me. Email me at show@magapod.com. Make the subject line Vegas so I know that you'd be interested in that, because I can go ahead. I can start calling sponsors. I can start putting that together if you guys are interested. If we want to have an election night party to celebrate the win of Donald Trump, I'm down. I'll host it. We'll do a live MAGA pod. In fact, in September, and I'm just mentioning this now, but this is going to come up. We're going to be putting together some live MAGA pods for the debates, for post-debate night. So we're going to have a lot more live shows going forward. I think you guys are going to dig it. But if you guys are into that Vegas idea, and hopefully the building won't get bombed, but if you're in for that idea and you like it, then email me, subject line Vegas at show@magapod.com. Let me know, hey, I would be there. I'd show up to that, and I'll go ahead and I'll put it together. Okay. On today's show, we have one of the most based dudes I have ever talked to. He has harsh criticism for Obama, and rightfully so, and some tough criticism for Hillary, and stands up for his faith in a big way, and goes right after the quote-unquote religion of peace. The guy is a madman, and I believe the dude is a centipede. He is known worldwide as an actor and model, but now he fights against the corrupt mainstream media and liberal Hollywood. You heard him bring the house down at the RNC, and then immediately go on the air with the media and drop tactical truth nukes all over Obama. The most based man in Hollywood, Antonio Sabàto Jr. Let's talk to Antonio.
Well, that's the liberal media. That's how it goes in that department. I mean, you say one thing they don't like, or you say many things they don't like. It's the same thing. They put you down, and they'll keep, talking bad about you all the time. And that's how it goes. And they do it constantly for days and weeks and months. But I also got such welcome and love and from people all across the nation who feel the same way I do, who are patriots, who love this country, and that makes me feel amazing because those are people that never knew about me, and now they know, and so I accumulated a whole amount of new fans that came through with this, and there's a lot of people that are sick about what's going on in this nation, in this country, and I got to tell you, man, it was a passionate night. There was a lot of love. There was a lot of tears because we don't like how this country is going down, and it's been going in a direction that we never expected it to go, and now we want it back, and now we have a chance to get it back.
Now you talked about that. There's a lot of love from the Trump supporters who, after your speech, were really kind of moved by your words. A lot of people, I think, and I want to get your opinion on this. I think that the Republican Party is definitely way more inclusive, way more accepting, and way more loving. Like they saw that you came out, they heard your words, they saw how instantly that you were being attacked, and the kind of reprisals you were facing, and they were instantly right there for you, and they just had your back, and they knew that because they know what it's like. I think a lot of Trump supporters themselves in their daily lives, Trump supporters who work at offices or work at regular jobs, who openly support Trump, they face a lot of the same criticism, and I think it was a testament to not only your long career but your great speech at the RNC. How was the preparation? Were you a little worried that night, or did you know you had it?
No, I was excited. I was really excited. It was a good time. It was a good time to express how I felt, and how I'm feeling right now. I mean, when things go bad in this country, at some point, everything, your country is so much more important than your career and everything else, and that's how we feel. I mean, people that were there were people that love this nation, and some of them came from a long way, from across the nation, also across the world. And they've seen how this country has been taken in the wrong direction for such a long time. And at some point, you have one guy who stands up for that. He says certain things, and nobody, people say, well, he's too honest. Well, I like honesty. Mm-hmm. I think honesty is good. I don't want to be lied to every single day and be talked to in a way that, like a child. I mean, the liberals, media, the Democrats, they talk to the nation like what you're supposed to follow, and it's communism. It's a place where you have no voice, and you just follow and listen and see things go down that are not appropriate, things that are not right for this country, and you have one guy who stands up to that and says certain things that are like, wow, that's how I feel. That's how we all feel, and so we don't want to be lied to anymore. We want to be told the truth. And if the truth is too honest, so be it. Because honesty is good. It's a good thing. And we need to get our country back. And, the economy, the military, the border, jobs going overseas, and people taking all this money and being lied to by the Democrats for so long. The middle class, and there is no middle class. It doesn't exist anymore. I mean, we are in a place that, and this country is so divided. We have a president who's divided this country who doesn't care about this thing. He doesn't. He cares about himself, but he doesn't put his nation first. And now we have Mr. Trump who cares about this nation. He didn't have to come out and run for presidency and go through all this hell. He didn't have to do this. Mm-hmm. Believe me, he's made his money. He's had a long career, but he's doing it because he cares about this nation. And I think we all feel the same way. We're willing to put our career and everything else, to talk, to speak, stand with him, to go for it, and to win this election, because this election is important. If we have Hillary in there for 4 more years and just kind of go after what Obama has been done, probably worse, a lot worse, and can't afford that to happen. No way.
Can I ask you, but before this election cycle, have you always leaned more conservative, or say back 8 years ago, back when Obama was first running? Because I was one of those people. I fell for a lot of this stuff, that these sweet words and all this stuff that was going to happen, and I was like, okay, well this sounds great. And then 8 years later, here we are. What was kind of your political growing period for the past 8 years?
I felt for the same thing. I mean, I didn't. I felt for the same thing. I supported Obama. I thought he was the right change. He's a guy that wasn't so much a politician, but he was a guy who you could hang out with, and he had all the right answers. And you could walk up there, and it was different. It was unique. It was fresh and all that stuff. But it was a bunch of lies. Mm-hmm. And I never thought in a million years that he could do the things he has done. And pretty much just ruined this country. He is the worst president we ever had. and there's no question about that. And just even right now, what's going on in the South, and how this president doesn't care, this lack of care for anything, and then the hypocrisy that goes with it. You know what I mean? They complain and they put President Bush down while right now, and we see Obama playing golf, and nobody says anything, and he doesn't show up, he doesn't speak, he just kind of supports Hillary and does what he has to do, and then leaves. Hypocrisy is just it's huge, and it's wrong. It's wrong. People have to see that it's wrong. It's wrong for President Obama to have done the things that he has done, to make deals with Iran, to cut our military, do all the things. Obamacare is a complete disaster. We all know it. And he doesn't care. And look what look at cities like Chicago and Detroit, and they're just falling apart. Not once did he ever go and support his neighborhood, the places that he supposedly was running before he went to the White House.
Well,
the list goes on and on, you know.
Well, let me ask you this. I mean, because you make a great point. I mean, as we talk today's we will let the listeners know, we'll let them behind the curtain that we're talking Friday. The interview is going to run Monday, but while we're having this conversation, Louisiana is literally underwater. And to your point, Obama is out playing golf today, and you have Trump en route to deliver a speech. A couple days ago, you had Milwaukee. Last week, Milwaukee's literally in flames. You have the next day, you have Trump there to give a speech about race relations. I mean, when we look at Obama, I mean, I think saying that he doesn't care is, I mean, that's like the nicest way to say it. It's almost like people would get upset by that, but it does seem like when you don't care that much, it almost seems like it's negligence at that point.
Yeah, he's negligent towards our country and to our freedom, and everything, all his policies, everything he's been trying to do has been, in a way, a way to, how can I change this country in the worst way? This country is great because of the laws, the history, everything. I mean, this country's been through the most amazing riots in the last 200 years.
Mm-hmm.
And people want to come here because of the freedoms and the opportunities that this country can give you, and the diversity of it. And so this president is changing that. He wants this country to be a socialist country, and very much like Europe. And Europe is not working at all. It's never worked. And so, I mean, look what happened in Great Britain, how they had to kind of just stop everything, go, you know what, we want our country back. We don't want to go in this direction. And the United States is very unique. It's a place, it's a beacon on the hill, it's a freedom, and home of the brave, where people will fight for this country till the end. And that's gone away. It's gone away where, you want the government to take care of everything, you know what I mean? And then they don't do it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But, if you need something, help, a helping hand, you always call the government. And these Democrats have been doing it for too long. They offer this free stuff, I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to take care of your mortgage. I'm going to take care of your job. I'm going to, it's like I'm going to take care of everything for you, which is never true. You got to take care of yourself. And the greatest thing about this country is that people that have a dream, that work hard, will make that happen. But they need a leader who says, you know what? Like Ronald Reagan was the greatest at it. He said, we can work for something. Just go after work your butt off. Work as hard as you can, and we as a country will stand with you, and we'll do it together. This president, in the other way, is saying, you know what, we'll offer all this fake stuff and all the BS, and you'll buy it, and then I'm going to go and take care of everything else. But they don't. They don't do anything, and it's just a bunch of lies. And there's great documentaries right now about Hillary Clinton, and people should go see them. And they're playing all over the country, and people have to kind of understand what's going on. And just this woman and her husband have destroyed a lot of lives, and people are willing to vote for her. And she's left our soldiers to die, and great people. And people don't talk about that, and she's made this country more vulnerable with the emails and all that stuff. So
now,
the list goes on, and people have to take they have to look at that carefully and go, do I want this person to run my country for the next 4 years? Do I really want it?
Now,
And the answer is no.
I do want to get into Hillary. Let me ask you this thing about the one last thing about Obama. Now, I know you made headlines when you said, and people acted like this was like the worst thing that anyone could say ever, but there's a lot of truth to this. I mean, if you look into the history of Obama, father, stepfather, Muslim ties, he obviously grew up. He has a certain acceptance of the Muslim faith, even far radical elements of the Muslim faith. Now, you had the opinion. It was a pretty strong opinion, and I think a lot of people agree with you. I don't think it's a tinfoil opinion, but that Obama is a Muslim. Do you believe that? I mean, I'm getting there based on what I've learned so far.
Well, they all acted like it was not true. I mean, the guy was raised as a Muslim. Mm-hmm. He started reading the Quran at a young age, and I'm sure he's still reading it now. The question is he ever going to come out and really openly speak about his faith? And he probably won't, because he's a smart guy, and he just kind of does what he wants depending on the situation on the day. But I mean, look what he's done with the Saudi Arabian government, and over the years. I mean, he supported, he hasn't supported Christians. He hasn't supported Christianity. I mean, it goes on and on. And the thing is, listen, we all know what's going on. It's not a secret. Most people know what this man is all about. Mm-hmm. Because they're scared to say it. They don't want to accept it. But this president has made some decisions, some choices that kind of agrees with what I'm trying to say here. And
I think the strongest part of your statement was, and I think of course the mainstream media buried the lead here, but I think that you were 100% on with a right in the fact that that when you said, I do not believe he's basically a Christian, and I agree with that 100%. You look at him and you look at his policies and you look how he supports a lot of these radical Muslim elements, how he would invite Black Lives Matter to the White House. I mean, he kind of caters and panders to the worst elements of society that are in this country, and he doesn't seem to hold his faith. I've never once heard him talk about Jesus. I mean, maybe he has. I mean, I don't remember anything notable where he talked about his faith in Jesus Christ or anything like that. It seems like he's a Christian when it's convenient for him. When he was on the campaign trail, he was a Christian, but now that he's served as president, it's just something that doesn't come up. And I think a lot of Christians know if that isn't something that you talk about in your decision making and in your life, then it's probably something that you're not really committed to.
Well, the thing is, with him also, there's all these records. I mean, nobody knows when he became a Christian. Nobody knows when he went to school, college, or even before that when he was in Hawaii. All these are sealed. The Social Security sealed. I mean, nobody knows anything about this guy. I mean, you can check this out. I mean, anybody out there who doesn't believe this, okay, well, he's full of it. Well, go find out for yourself. Go look at things that he's done and see if you can find any file, any record on schools where he basically grew up, or what he did. He went to Indonesia. He was going to school there, and then he came back here. And once he came back to the United States, it's kind of like, well, he went to school here, but everything is sealed. We can't see it. See it. He's the president of the United States. We should be allowed to see everything that he went through from schools and whatnot, and we can't. And then apparently he became a Christian at some point. People say, well, faith is not important. Well, it is important when he's making these decisions. I think it is. Mm-hmm. I think it's but his time is coming down to an end, and I think it will be very interesting the next 2 months what's going to happen. I mean, as you've seen him now, he's doing certain things still. I mean, he's playing golf when cities are underwater and neighborhoods are being burned, and he's not speaking out. He's not supporting certain things. He's not standing up for our police officers. I don't know. I think you never know. I think the worst is yet to come. This guy might surprise a lot of people even further do some other things in the next few months. We don't know.
Yeah, it seems like it's been a really contentious summer, with rioting and with just racial tensions escalating, and I mean, you can even point back to earlier in the summer when we have the Pulse nightclub shooting. I mean, it seems like this country's being under attack right now, internally, and then by external forces, and it seems like he wants nothing to do with it. It seems like Hillary isn't going to do anything about it. You talked earlier about if Hillary were to win, I mean, do you think we'd be in a worse spot than we have been in the past 8 years with Obama?
Yeah, I think so. Because I think she's more conniving than him in so many ways. Look at the stuff that he's done from, lying for her husband from that point, even before that. I mean, how if you look at the entire story of Hillary and the things she's done and how she treated people and how she treated countries and how she's taken money from the Saudis, how she's taken money from everybody else, and she's never really helped anyone. Her foundation has helped some people, they say. Well, if it's 10% of millions and millions of dollars that she's taken, I don't know if that's really helping. I mean, Haiti did not get any help from her. She promised a lot of things. Africa, South America, and look what she's done in Syria and Libya and things like that when she was Secretary of State. And Cozy, she's made with emails. She's kind of been above the law, and she's lied constantly. It's okay for her to lie, and we'll vote for her and support her anyway. And basically, to me, it comes down to one thing: Benghazi. Mm-hmm. When she decided not to help our people, when she decided to walk away, that was it. I really. That's on top of everything else that we've been talking about. And when we leave our soldiers to, and for Obama, it's to deal with Iran. That goes up there too. When you make a deal with the terrorists who have killed a lot of our soldiers, who to this day want to destroy Israel, our number one ally, which, as you talked about Obama earlier, I mean, he has not supported Israel, and that to tell you that there's something going on in his faith alone. Because if you don't support Israel and you don't put Israel as the top of a priority on a daily basis, then there's something going on there. So, and she feels the same way. He's the one that started a lot of the mess out there. When Trump says ISIS will start by Obama and Hillary, he's not wrong. He's actually right. You look at it was done by them, this team. And they've done it together, and they've done a successful job at it. And look at the mess we're in now.
It seems like they and we think back to that Obama when he said the ISIS was the JV team, and it's turned out that they seem to be a really professional team. They seem to be causing a lot of trouble. They seem to be a lot better than just a JV team. I mean, there seems to be like a callousness towards American interests, not only with Obama but with Hillary as well. And I think that's one of the things that resonates with a lot of the Trump people and a lot of the new conservative base is the idea of America first, that Americans, that American interests have to come first in trade and in foreign policy. Do you think Trump will be able to kind of put those ideas forward and kind of be, like he says, be a champion for those American interests in both foreign and domestic?
I think he can. I think he's doing it right now. I think that people are waking up. If people could get their smoke out of their eyes long enough to see that, with Hillary for who she is, because we all wanted an African-American president, and we got it. We got it, and that turned out to be a disaster. It turned out to be awful. It turned out to be the worst thing possible. He wasn't the right guy. In my opinion, he was not. Mm-hmm. And then the same situation is happening now. People just want to vote, especially the young votes. They want to vote for her because she's a woman. I understand. We all want the first woman president. That'll be great, but it's not this woman. It's not her in any way. And so right now we have a man who stands up for our country. He stands out for the people in poverty. He stands out for everyone in between. He stands up for this country. He stands up for the freedom of this nation. And who's not a politician? And so sometimes, he goes off the cuff and he says certain things that people are just woken up and they're being offended and all this. Well, this is a time where we got to stop being offended and we got to stop putting this America first. And that's what he's been doing from day one. And when he talks from the heart. I've met the guy. He's an honest guy, and I think he will stand up for his country, everyone, and he will stand up for the world and what is right. And he will listen to his military people. He will make the right decisions, and he will fight to get this country back to number one, economically, and also, with the structure. I mean, it's kind of like the structure of this country has been destroyed. It kind of chipped at it, and this president has been trying to change it for so long, for almost 8 years now. So now we kind of have to rebuild it. And but people are excited. I'm telling you, people are excited that there's a chance right now to rebuild it. Well, that's a good thing.
Let me ask you this, because I talked to Roger Stone about this last week, and Roger Stone is also has met Trump before, and he talked about his graciousness and his niceness, and that that normally that you wouldn't usually see that in a politician. That it's rare to bump into nice people in politics. Just like I'm sure it's when you meet someone who's really nice and genuine, you go, oh my gosh, like people like that exist. Could you give me kind of your impressions of your meetings and your interactions with Donald Trump? Not the politician, not the businessman, just Donald Trump, the person.
He's a really nice guy. I mean, he's a really nice and intelligent. He walks in the room. He looks you in the eye. He's telling you the truth. I mean, I've met a lot of people in politics. I've met a lot of people in my industry who are fake as heck. I mean, they will tell you stories, and inside your heart, this person's not telling you the truth. But it's not like that with Mr. Trump. And it's not like that with his children, too. I mean, you could see that. Like, his children are so good. It's something that this guy has done right. And so when I talk to him, and he's always been a gentleman. He's just a gentleman, and he's a good guy. He cares about people, and he cares about helping them. If they need some help, then he's going to step forward and help you out. And that's how he feels about this country. And it's great. He's really articulate. He's just really fun to be around. And most importantly, he's telling you what's up. He's telling you the truth. And that's good. It's refreshing to have in the world of politics where everybody's trying to lie to you, trying to get a dime out of you, trying to get something from you. This guy is actually interested in what you're doing. He's asking you questions, versus it's all about me. No, it's about you. It's about, and he's been saying this a lot. It's about the country. It's about you. I'm working for you. You're not working for me. I'm working for you. And so that's the thing when you talk to this guy. That it's really appreciated. And every time I see him, he says my name. He says, good things. Keep up the good work. Thank you for helping us out. This and that. So it's a good thing.
That's great. Well, let me ask you this about the other big issue that I want to talk to you about, and I think it's important because you can actually speak to this issue. I think, I live in Arizona. I can speak to the illegal immigration problem, but I think there's something to be said, and it comes from a powerful place when we talk to somebody who is a legal citizen, who not only did it right but actually likes the country. Could you kind of talk about your experience as when you coming to this country and kind of becoming an American citizen and the kind of pride that you have in being an American at this point?
It was a huge pride because, we worked so hard trying to get here. And you have to wait in line. You have to wait your turn. But the excitement keeps building up because we know this is the right place for us. This is our future. My parents wanted this for me and my sister to be our home. Mm-hmm. And we finally came here. It was a certain, and you did it right and you did it legally. Everything was done properly. And when you finally get here, there's a certain type of appreciation and love and care for this country that I think my family loves this country, I think, more than somebody that was born here because we respect it and it's done so much for us. And then, the whole process was great. Being around people that were, going through the same thing, learning your presidents, learning all the 50 states, doing all this homework and testing, and it was good because you appreciate the country. You understand what's going on. It's not just about coming here and taking it for granted. It's actually appreciating this place. and respecting it and learning it and learning the history and understanding what's going on. And when you do it like that, it's much appreciated. And I've talked to a lot of Latinos and families who come from all over the world who come here who want to put that wall up. Who, Latinos for Trump is a perfect example. These guys, they work hard, they love this nation, and they're sick of what's going on. How, we can allow people to just come here illegally and take this country for granted. And taking it for a spin. That's not right.
Yeah.
That's not right. And so you have a man like Donald Trump stepping up and going, we're going to build a wall, and everybody's laughing, everybody's joking about it. Why? You don't have a wall in your house? You don't have a wall to protect you from the outside world? That's what we need here. We need to stop that. And so, we all have to stand together and make this happen. And he's our man. So we have to do whatever it takes to get him in the house.
Now, to your point, I want to comment on this because I'm Hispanic. My parents have been in Texas before it became when Texas was Mexico, and kind of trace our history back to that. But I think that a lot of people think that Hispanics for Trump is like this misnomer. When to your point, it's a very real thing. You have a lot of Hispanics who not only have history in this country, especially in the western part of this country, but also people who've done it legally, people who've immigrated legally, who are here. They're Americans. They have an appreciation for this country, and they do want to build that wall because it does seem, and I want to get your opinion on this, if you've done it right, if you've done everything right, it is kind of annoying and it's kind of insulting that someone would be able to do it the wrong way, would be able to cut in line, would be able to just disregard the rules, show up, and then expect that they would get something for free or that they would be able to be made a citizen when they haven't done everything that you've done, they haven't done it the right way. It's kind of insulting. It's kind of disingenuous. And to your point, when we talk about what it takes, the appreciation to be an American, you wouldn't get that if you just walked over and you said, okay, I'm here. I'm ready for my free stuff. It doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's how it is. That's how it is nowadays. Everybody wants free stuff and they want to take advantage of this country. In one way, they love so much this country and the laws and everything that it gives, but in the other way, well, we want to do our thing. We don't want to do everything right. We don't want to follow the law because it's a contradiction. They want to do whatever they want to do, and it's not right. When you come here, you got to appreciate this country. You got to respect it, and you got to take care of it, and you got to put your country first. And when you don't, and you want to walk away from that mentality of country first, and you start thinking about yourself, you want the government to take care of you, you want open borders, you want to do whatever, it becomes a mess. That's where we have laws. That's where we have, we have battles and wars been fought for freedom. And now we have it. And now we have politicians and leaders who take advantage of that freedom. And they put words in our head and they brainwash us to believe that they have our back, but they don't. They don't have our backs. They leave us stranded. Mm-hmm. Look what's going on. And they leave us stranded. Cities like Chicago's are being stranded. You have all these laws, gun laws and all that stuff. Toughest in the country, blah, 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 and all this BS. But at the end of the day, there's more killings there on a daily basis. Every 2 hours, somebody dies. So in cities like Chicago, funny enough, is a city where President Obama came from. Mm-hmm. And he's never been back. When was the last time he had a speech in Chicago and talking to his neighborhoods, to the people of Chicago and say, I'm going to help you out. We got to do something about it. When was the last time he actually went to Dallas and said, to the police officers, we have your back? When was the last time he went to Louisiana and said, you guys are underwater, I'm going to help you, I'm here, I'm with you? No, that's Donald Trump who's saying that. He's not saying that. He's playing golf or he's traveling to Hawaii on Air Force One, or making deals with Saudi Arabia, or making deals with Iran, or supporting Hillary because he wants her to step in. And he knows in his heart how corrupted she is, probably more corrupted than him. So that's the reality, and we got to do something about it. And we need somebody who's going to make those solid changes. And Trump is the only guy right now. You have a choice. You have Mr. Trump or you have Hillary. And Hillary has hurt a lot of people. Trump has not hurt anyone. Mm-hmm. Maybe his words have been harsh, but the truth hurts. Also, the truth, as they say, will set you free.
I think you're right. I think I think a lot of people who support Trump will agree with that. I think the words have been harsh, but I think there's a point if you know something is wrong and you know things are going wrong, then someone's got to say like, hey, someone's got to step and say like, if something's really going wrong at work or on a job, someone's got to step in before it goes bad to worse to just a complete mess that can't be cleaned up. Someone's got to step and say, hey, this is all screwed up. It's sure it's nothing people want to hear because it upsets people. People may be sensitive to it because it's not how we the way our cultures come around. It's almost like we're too afraid to say anything. We're too afraid to kind of express any complaint. But it seems like he's the kind of guy, especially during his speeches, he's speaking off the cuff and he's speaking like a regular person. And he's kind of giving us that dose of medicine that we need because things are so messed up. Because to your point, we got Chicago and it's turned into a gun, to a shooting range. And we got Milwaukee that's burning. And we got nightclubs being shot up by a Muslim. And no one wants to talk about the fact that he's a Muslim because we're not allowed to talk about that. I mean, this country is in a lot of turmoil.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we have to talk about the facts, and the facts are not looking good. And so when you bring that up, they want to be in this oblivion, they want to be in this denial. You can't be in denial when people are dying. You can't be in denial when cities are burning out, and the economy of this country is going down in the drain. You can't. You got to be realistic. You got to find solutions, and you got to have bold solutions. And you got to be tough. You got to be tough with the enemy. You got to be tough with the reality of what's going on. If people are coming from the Middle East and they want to share Sharia law in this country, it's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Sharia law should not be allowed in this country. You can practice Islam and read your Quran all you want, but if you practice Sharia law in our neighborhoods, if you practice Sharia law, it's not going to happen. This is not going to turn out to be Paris. This country is not going to be like Belgium is turning out to be, which is, they have neighborhoods where they practice Sharia law, where they can do anything. They can beat up kids. They can beat up women. This is happening in Europe, in places that I grew up. And it's never going to happen here. We have to fight for whatever, till the end, and not let this happen here because it's happening. It's happening right now. And people don't want to talk about it. And when it's happening in your neighborhood and it's going to happen to you, then it's too late.
Let me ask you this, because
that's crazy.
You're a Christian. I'm a Christian. I think there's, and then when we look at a lot of this Sharia law stuff, and we look at these type of Muslims who fall in this. I mean, usually you have the hardcore, you have the hardliner ones, but even the ones who are kind of middle of the road, they still like follow behind the hardliners. They never speak out against the hardliners. And then when you have these Sharia law Muslims who come into America, I mean, these people, and I wonder your opinion as a Christian, because I know my opinion is, it seems like they're just not compatible with Western civilization. They're not compatible because as a Christian, you can look over and you can say, okay, well, they have that belief, and I don't agree with it. They might be misguided, and that would be like the harshest criticism you could give, and that would be pretty harsh criticism. But they, on the other side, they don't even recognize your right to exist. They feel like that you don't even deserve to live, and that you not only are you wrong, but you deserve to die, and that's kind of the incompatibility of Sharia law Muslims and Christians in this country.
Absolutely. I mean, listen, people should, if they don't know about the Quran, they should go and read it. They should understand who Muhammad was. That he's married 13 wives or something like that. His first wife was 9 years old, and he's killed so many people in his young age. I mean, his entire life was about murder and killing.
Mm-hmm.
That's their prophet. My prophet, which is actually the Son of God, that I believe is Jesus, he's never killed anyone. He's never proclaimed war. He's never talked about war. He's talked about peace and love and kindness. Their prophet talks about war, and they're still fighting to this day. They're constantly fighting.
Mm-hmm.
It has not stopped. And so when you do your research and you understand what the Quran is all about, it's never going to stop. It's never going to end. Their purpose in life is to conquer and to own that land. Those people, they want to own them. They want, look what's going on in Iran and the Middle East. It's just growing, little steps. All the migrations through Europe, and Germany's going through some crazy stuff right now. Germany's not Germany anymore. You can't go there and pretend that it's the same, because it's not. So when you live with that mentality, and it's okay to do anything really to anyone because you disrespect my Quran, at that point there is no freedom, and there is no freedom in these neighborhoods. In Sharia law, which is growing. But also, it's in the book. It's in there from beginning to end. So, in my opinion, the Quran is not a peaceful book. It's very much against peace. It's the opposite. If you read it, and I think I should challenge everyone who hasn't read it, because I read it, and it's the opposite of my book, which is the Bible. The opposite of those principles.
I want to thank you for saying that, because I think too many Christians are bashful about making that distinction, about standing up and saying that yeah, let's compare the facts. Let's talk about Muhammad. Let's talk about Jesus Christ. Let's talk about the teachings of each. I think it's such a strong point, and I wish, and I applaud you for it, and I wish more Christians would take that stand, because it's almost like the PC culture, forget left and right. You have a lot of people who are non-Christians in this country who want to bash Christians, and it seems like they want them to feel ashamed in their beliefs. And when you stand up and you point at the works of Jesus Christ, they speak for themselves. And if people look into that, then they know what he's about. And you're right, to your point, if you look into Muhammad, you know exactly what he's about too.
Right. I think, we have that, in that country, the greatest thing about it is that we have the freedom of speech, and we can express our opinions, and that's fine. But when you start changing the laws, and we're talking about Sharia law, that's a whole different situation. That's called slavery. That's called the worst kind of law you could actually talk about. And it's going on in the world right now. So if you want to bring that way of life into the greatest country in the world, where freedom is key, then you're about to destroy this country internally, and it's going to spread outwardly. So, I'm telling you, we're at a place right now where we have to make some solid decisions who our next president is going to be, because, our rights are going to be taken away. And they're happening right now, and it's something that we have to stand for. We have to keep our rights. We have to keep all those things that we love about this country are being chipped away, and we can't afford that.
Well, let me ask you last thing. I wanted to bring up this last topic with you, because I know people, there are a lot of Trump fans. I know you have a ton of Trump fans in the the Trump community is so diverse. I mean, we have the Latinos for Trump. I take part in that. You have gays for Trump. You have all different types of group. And you have so many people that are flocking to you, like you talked about at the beginning of our interview, who love you for speaking up and for having the guts to go up there and say that, because it's tough. It's tough if you went to the DNC and you were up there and you were stumping for Hillary, they would have a love affair with you, and they'd say, "Oh, it's great. Look at this guy. It's so wonderful. He's up here." It would be easier, and it'd probably be more beneficial for your career to be at the DNC rather than the RNC, and go up there and speak truth and face that criticism. There's a level of personal sacrifice in that. And I think a lot of the fans, a lot of the Trump fans, a lot of your fans, they read this article in Variety, or they read the one article always spawns like 5 articles. No one writes real articles anymore. There's only one article, and the next article is the article about the article. But they're talking about that you were blacklisted. And I know a lot of people were really, really upset by that. And I kind of wanted to get your feelings, or kind of get an update on you, like what is happening, how much criticism are you facing from the industry that you work in, and in what other projects do you got going on?
Well, I'm working on a lot of stuff. I mean, I'm working, just finished doing a TV show. I'm getting ready to do another one. So I'm working. People know what the truth is. And funny enough, I mean, at the beginning it was all this negative stuff, and the liberals were not going to hire you, because they did say to me, "I'm not going to hire you anymore." They did call my agent and say, "You know what? Are you still going to represent your client after he supported Mr. Trump and the Republican Party?"
Wow.
Those are things that have happened. But also on the other side, I have people call and go, "I'm going to work with you. I want to hire you for what you did. I'm going to stand up for this." And there's a lot of people in that, casting directors and producers who have called, actors that I've known that I haven't talked to in a little while, and they said, "Well, I want to talk like you talk. I want to be able to have a chance to go up and do what you do, because I really appreciate what you've done." So it's been positive as well. But you got to stand up. You got to stand up for yourself. And sometimes standing up, you're going to get criticism, and the liberals will put you down. I mean, they don't like people in Hollywood talk against them. It's just the way it is. And but I'm not talking against them. I'm talking about the truth. And the liberals have been taking this country for a ride for too long, and taking advantage of people for too long. So I had an opportunity to speak.
It's so interesting. When a lot of people look from the outside looking in, they think of the Hollywood industry. They think of the liberal elite, and I'm sure there's a lot of that. But in your experience, are there a lot of people in that industry who, we could say, they're closeted Trump fans or they're closeted conservatives? They know that they don't have the courage of you. Like, they feel this way, but they would never say it. And when they get in the voting booth by themselves, they're going to make that choice.
Yes, and also I know a lot of Democrats who don't like the way that the Democrats have been running this country. So the Democratic Party has changed a lot in the last, 50 years. And the Democratic Party is not a Democratic Party anymore. It's a socialist party. So they don't want to be associated with that. They won't say it out in the open. They won't say it at the press junkets. They won't mention it at the interviews. But they know that. And I know a lot of them. They know that on November they're not going to vote for Hillary because she doesn't stand for their beliefs. The party is so-called Democratic Party, but it's not there, and they know it. They're going to vote for Trump, and that's what's going to happen. And that's why I believe that we're going to win, and we're going to win big. No matter what the polls are saying, no matter what's going on in the press, because the press is all for Hillary. They're liberals. The liberal press is huge, but also the people are getting fed up. They're finding press somewhere else. They're finding press on Twitter. They're finding press on Facebook because they don't want to watch these so-called mainstream media outlets because they don't want to hear the BS anymore. They want to hear the truth. And they're fed up. Because, they're telling me that the country's doing great. I'm like, well, my neighborhood is not doing great.
Yeah, exactly.
The economy's not doing great. They're telling me that everything's okay. Well, everything's not okay. Police officers are being shot at and murdered purposely. That's not good. And the president keeps saying that the country's doing great. It's doing great. The country's not doing great. Yeah, we still live in the greatest country, and we support it. And you still can go to the movies, and you still can do everything that you want to do. But at the same time, you're scared for your life that people are going to walk in and start killing people or wearing a bomb or whatever. You don't know because things have changed, obviously, right? What we've seen with San Bernardino, at 11 o'clock in the morning, you have two people walk in and start shooting people to death for whatever reason, right? Because they believe in this book, and so things have changed. So on November, when these Democrats are going to vote, they're going to say, "Well, I don't want to vote for her because I don't want 4 years like we've just had 4 years." I mean, the last 4 years, I would say probably 4 years, it's been dramatically how this country has changed in such a short amount of time, more divided than ever. And we can't be divided. We got to stand as a unity together as one. And so I think we'll vote for Trump.
Your prediction, because I don't know if I'll be able to get back to you. I definitely would like to talk to you in the future, but I don't know if I'll be able to get back with you before the election. But your prediction, do you think we're going to have a 1980 big win, or do you think it'll be like a 1984 huge win for Donald Trump?
I'm hoping, and I'm also seeing this, that we will have a huge win.
Nice.
We will have a huge win like Reagan had a huge win. And I think that we'll stay on track until the end. I know we're going to have these debates coming up, which are going to be essential. But I think a lot of people have made up their minds. And show the polls are there, whatever, all that stuff doesn't matter. I think people in this country are going to vote for Trump because ultimately they're sick of how everything has been run and to the ground. And they want their country back. I believe it.
Okay, I want to thank the most based man in Hollywood, Antonio Sabàto Jr., for having the conversation with us. I also want to thank show contributor Robert Mullen and also Lee Dean for editing and producing. The whole squad has been busy this week working overtime to put together the pieces for the MAGA shop. So look for that like Wednesday or Thursday of this week. Actually, just follow me on Twitter at MAGAPod so you can keep up with what's going on. Also, if you can please help the show by either purchasing an awesome t-shirt later this week or by going to MAGAPod.com and using the blue donate button in the upper right-hand corner. Every little bit helps. We want to keep doing the show all the way until the election. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you, Trumpire. Thank you, The Donald, and thank you, Planet Earth. And until next time, stay nimble, navigators.